Have you been watching the singles market for Crown Zenith at all? It is absolutely bonkers. It's going all over the place. Not every card. A lot of cards are fluctuating like crazy. Some cards are getting bought out like crazy. Is that a word? Bought out? Getting bought out like crazy? It's absolutely nuts. And I know this set just came out not too long ago. We're only like 5 days into it. People have been opening up Crown Zenith for a couple weeks, but its official release date was last Friday. So you've probably been watching a lot of openings, but maybe not paying a whole lot of attention to the singles market. It's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. And we go through this every single time a set releases. We pay attention to the price points of what singles are pre-ordering for, and then look at the market a few days after release to see how far they've dropped. Usually you get 60-70% is kind of the norm. Some cards a little bit more, some cards a little bit less. I wanted to do things a little bit different this time because Crown Zenith is such a different set. So what I did is Friday morning, so on release day, I went and I screenshotted all the highest listings on TCG Player so I could get a good accurate amount of data. And I did this just a few minutes before TCG Player went live with all stores that would be able to post singles on TCG Player. So I wanted to get the bottom of the barrel pre-order pricing for stores that posted singles on TCG Player. If you don't already know, you have to be verified by TCG Player as a pre-order store in order to post singles before a set releases. And then like 9 o'clock in the morning or 10 o'clock in the morning, whatever it is, on release day, they open that up. They get rid of the pre-order pricing and they let anybody who has a TCG Player seller account sell TCG singles. So I wanted to get a good understanding of, okay, the race to the bottom for all these pre-order stores, what the lowest point it's going to be at, and then get a good understanding of where price points are at once everybody kind of joins the race to the bottom. We're going to go through that today. It's very, very interesting. I'm going to flip you guys around so you can see what I'm talking about. These aren't really in any specific order whatsoever, so I'm going to go through them relatively quickly and kind of call out some that are more interesting than others. So for the most part, we're going to see a lot of normalcy here. Luminian started out at $18.71 on release day right before pre-orders ended. It's dropped 14.48% down to $16. Luminian, not too surprising that it has a small drop. A lot of people love the artwork on this card because it does look really cool, so it's dropped a little bit less. The next two cards suffered severe drops, some a little bit bigger than what we typically see. Usually when you look at pre-order pricing from release day all the way up until the day or the Monday after release, which is what we're looking at right now, it's usually going to be only about 40-50%. But this Raihan right here dropped from $17.34 all the way down to $6. So this is a Galarian Gallery card as well. It's dropped 65.4%. Grant dropped even more. I think Grant is the one that dropped the absolute most. And it makes sense because it's not a card that's necessarily overly desirable. People want the Cynthia, they want the Irida, they want the Gardenia, they want the Roxanne, the Raihan, the Grant, the Adaman. Probably not as popular amongst the people who collect full art supporters who are really into those full art supporters. But look at how far this has dropped from $15.78 all the way down to $3.34. That's a 78.83% drop. So almost 79%. The Drapion V, so this is the Clay Motion design. It was at $16.33. Not too bad of a drop. It dropped down to $10. We're looking at the lowest listings and comparing that to the lowest listing currently on TCG Player. The crazy thing is, some of these numbers, so I pulled these like 12 hours ago, some of these numbers have already changed a little bit due to other buyouts that are going on. It is super volatile and completely unstable right now for Crown Zenith, but the Drapion V has dropped 38.76%. Not too bad of a drop for the Regigigas V-Star. It's went from $18.57 down to $15.50. That's a 16.5% drop. The Roxanne has been hit pretty hard. That went from $19.25, dropped 50% down to $9.51. There's the Adaman that we were just recently talking about. It was all the way up to $19.05, which isn't bad for a pre-order pricing. Now it's currently sitting at $8.99, so it did drop fairly substantially down to 52.81%. Hisuian Samurott V, very cool looking card, really has that Legends Arceus feel to it. Went from $20.97 down to $11.25, so that's a 46% drop. The Chorus's Experiment went from $18.78 to $11.49, so that's a 38.82% drop. That's relatively normal for a new set release. Zamazenta V, $20.94, also dropped 40% down to $12.50. The Zera Aura V-Star from $24.86 down to $14, so that's almost a 44% drop. That one dropped a little bit further than what I thought it would. The Zera Aura VMAX, right in line with the Zera Aura V-Star, went from $21.75 down to $14.40. That's a 33.79% drop, so not too bad for Zera Aura. The Zacian V went from $22.55, not too bad of a drop for this one, under 25% of a drop, down to $17 and a penny. The Hisuian Samurott V-Star, this one was at $23.19. This one took a really big hit. It dropped 59% down to $9.50. The Melanie Full Art Supporter from the Galarian Gallery, this one dropped further than I think a lot of people were anticipating. It went from $27.50 all the way down to $11.13. That's almost a 60% drop. The Raikou V doing extremely well. A lot of people like this card a lot. It went from $30 down to $27.01, so single digit drops for this Raikou V, only 9.97%. The Simisear V-Star, a lot of people like this card as well just because of the artwork, went from $27.25 down to $16.99, so about a 38% drop, which is very normal. The Entei V actually doing extremely well. This is one of the few that has actually gained, and it's relatively flat if we actually look at it because it's only up 0.42%, but went from $28.88 up to $29. Now we're going to start getting into some of the more interesting ones. The Deoxys V-Star dropped fairly substantially considering the artwork and a lot of excitement behind this card. It was $34 on pre-order day, or release day, right before pre-order pricing ended. Went from $34 down to $17.97, so that's a 47.15% drop. The Darkrai V-Star, a lot of people love this card. Not too bad of a drop, dropped 21.72% from $34.49 down to $27. The Hisuian Zoroark V-Star doing extremely well. This one already went through some buyout phases, so it's very confusing. This is one of those cards we were talking about before that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. A lot of excitement behind this one. Because of that, we took the market price of $33.07 because the lowest listing was already at $80 because it was getting bought quite a bit during the pre-order phase. Went up to $35, so that's about a 5.84% gain for the Hisuian Zoroark V-Star. Then we've got the Glaceon V-Star doing what you would expect Glaceon to do, dropping a small amount, 22.73%. It went from $44 down to $34. Then we've got the Cynthia's Ambition. This one dropped further than I was anticipating, still at $26 currently, but it was at $43.99. So if you looked at some of the pre-order singles a week ago, so 4 or 5 days before release, they were much, much higher than what we saw on Friday morning. $43.99 is where this was on Friday morning, right before pre-order singles ended. Went down to $26 as of last night. That's a 40.9% drop. Gardenia's Vigor dropped 30.56% from $18.65 down to $12.95. The Leafeon V-Star was at $54.90. This is a definite fan favorite for a lot of people in the set. This one and the Suicune V after it. It dropped down to $42, which is a 23.5% drop. The Suicune V, very cool looking card, dropped from $47.19 down to $38.50. Not too bad of a drop, 18.41%. The Irida dropped a little bit more than I was expecting. Went from $40 on pre-order day, or the end of pre-order day, down to $24.90 the Monday after. That's a drop of 37.75%. Then we get to some of these gold cards, and some of these gold cards are going absolutely nuts. So the Arceus V-Star was going through buyouts right away. Established a market pricing of $79.21. And really what market pricing is it looks at what the card is selling for, what it last sold for, and then it adjusts like every hour or so. So at one point in time, the Arceus V-Star gold card, remember gold cards have a pull rate of about 1 out of every 150 packs. So not too bad for the gold cards, a little bit better than what we've seen from some of the alternate art, VMAXs. Not bad pull rates at all, but was out of stock. So we took the market price of the Arceus V-Star, which was $79.21. It actually has gone up. The current lowest listing on TCG Player is $110. So that's a 39% gain over those few days. The Palkia V-Star Gold card dropped 15.5% from $83.96 down to $71. The Deoxys VMAX got hammered really hard from $49.40 down to $18.80. That's a 62.32% drop. The Mewtwo V-Star, the lowest listings on Friday morning was $134.99. $114.99, but the market price was $114.70. This card's been going through buyouts like crazy, and as I looked this morning, as I'm recording this video, it's going through another buyout where a lot of people are kind of joining together and upping the price of this Mewtwo V-Star, $134.99 down to $92.57. That's a 31.42% drop, but you can see the market price only $114.70. So when buyouts are happening, they're buying up to this certain price point, and then they're like, okay, we won't go higher than this because this is kind of what we believe this card should be priced at. $92.57 is where it was currently listed. Those have all been bought out now, so it's back up over $130. The Giratina V-Star also went through a ton of buyouts. You can see it was low listed as $135 on Friday morning. The current price when I looked last night was $181.99. That's a 34.81% jump, but you can see the market price established at $113.55. That means it was being bought out up to that $135 price point, and it could just be a bunch of people who really want the single that are willing to pay that price. So, I mean, it's really up in the air with a set that's so volatile when it comes to singles this early on. The Origin Form Dialga V-Star went from $83.98 down to $73.49, so that's a 12.5% drop. If we look at the Radiant Charizard, this one got hit really, really hard, especially if you look at the Radiant Charizard from Pokemon Go, which sells at about $25. $23.69 down to $8.50. That's a 64% drop. Definitely pay attention to that one because I think that one might be interesting as we move forward. The Friends in Sinnoh Full Art went from $22.04 down to $16.65. That's about a 24.5% drop. The Friends in Hisui went from $17.45 down to $15. That's a 14.04% drop. And then the last two that we're going to look at, Alessa Sparkle was at $44.92, dropped to $29.30. That's a 34.77% drop. And the Pikachu Secret Rare on opening day was selling for $68.98. It has dropped all the way down to $30. I don't know if it's going to drop a whole lot more than that. Remember, it's one out of every, about 100 packs. So one out of every ETB case is pretty much going to be a Pikachu Secret Rare, which is really good pull rates. It dropped 56.51%, but I put the pull rates very close to what we saw from the Pikachu V and Pikachu V Max from Lost Origin Trainer Gallery. So I expect this to kind of settle around that price point of $30 to $40, somewhere in that group right there. But Crown Zenith has been very, very interesting to watch. Remember, Crown Zenith is spread out over the next 5 months. So there is going to be a lot of product that hits the shelves. Don't FOMO, don't lose your mind. Don't pay too much attention to singles as far as buying goes. We'll look at them, we'll kind of analyze them, but we're not going to go broke spending a bunch of money on these cards because they are going to be open, they are going to be readily available. I know ETBs have gone up in price significantly already. We could get a big wave, a second wave of those that come out. Nothing has been announced as of yet, but they did that with Champion's Path, they did that with Shining Fates, they did it with Pokemon Go, and Pokemon Go didn't even need it. They did it with Celebration, so usually history repeats itself in Pokemon, right? So we would expect ETBs to kind of be restocked, reprinted at some point. I do think this set for the long term is going to be very, very strong because it is so much fun to open. A lot of people really love the set. It really has that Hidden Fates feel to it, and because of that, I think singles are going to hold fairly well as you kind of pay attention to them right now, even though packs continue to get pulled or broken and ripped and torn and things like that. Even as packs continue to get opened, I do expect singles to kind of stabilize eventually, but right now it's been very, very fun to kind of look at, analyze, and kind of put your mind behind everything. You'll have to let me know in the comment section down below what you think is going on with the Crown Zenith market as far as singles go, where you think they're going to go from here, if you think they're going to start stabilizing a little bit, or if you think they're going to continue going crazy over the next several weeks, because it's been very interesting to watch. The next big release for Crown Zenith is going to be the middle of February, so if you're having trouble finding product right now, just be patient. There's going to be more coming out. We've got the mini tins, we've got the Pikachu VMAX collection box, that'll be in the middle of February. You'll see a lot more packs kind of making their way out there. Don't pay attention. You probably will see some sealed product rising over the next few weeks, especially when it comes to booster packs, but remember, there's more help on the way with this spread out release schedule. If you guys enjoy the content, please hit that subscribe button down below, leave a like, leave a comment. It goes a long way for the channel, it goes a long way for the algorithm, and helps share the channel around. If you don't like the content, you don't have to do any of those things regardless. I really just appreciate you guys taking the time to watch and listen to me ramble for 14-15 minutes. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for everything. I will be back in a couple days with another video. Until then, peace.